Hi, Armada Bulldogs. This is Miss Vega coming to you from Miss Bedoya's library here at Armada Elementary. And today's Read Aloud is called Mahalia Mouse Goes to College. And this is a great book to start off college kickoff week. So, the author of this amazing book is actually an actor called John Lithgow. Let's read a little bit about what happens here. Let's look at the summary. So, Mahalia Mouse and her family lived underneath Dunster House, an old Harvard dormitory, foraging for food for her younger brothers and sisters. Mahalia gets trapped in a backpack and then finds herself inside a classroom far from home. Mahalia, intrigued by the lecture, starts attending classes and soon becomes a full-time student. All the while wondering what about the fate of her family, but when graduation day finally arrives, Mahalia has a wonderful surprise waiting for her. Let's see what happens. So as we go through the cover pages, we've got the title and the author, and then the illustrator. The illustrator of this book is called Igor Oleynikov. Wow, what an interesting name. Take a look at the pictures as I read. The skies of September were bursting with rain, pelting the old dormitory. It filled every gutter and choked every drain. Chapter 1 of Mahalia's story. Look at the imagery. What kind of feelings do you get when you look at the pages? A family of mice huddled up to keep warm. Their basement was flooded with water. The mother peered out at the furious storm, then turned and addressed her young daughter. "Mahalia, darling," she said with a sigh, "your father's not back till tomorrow. So wrap up in newspaper, keep yourself dry, and find us some cheese or a scrap of meat pie. The children are starving, the babies may die." Then she faltered, consumed by her sorrow. Look at their sad faces, and they're all looking up at Mom. Mahalia hugged her, then scampered outside, sheltered by clumps of wisteria. In minutes, she'd found a secure place to hide, in a hall by the dorm cafeteria. What kind of mood do you feel when you look at these pictures? Very gloomy. Nearby lay a backpack, unclaimed on the floor, smelling of cheese and roast beef. Mahalia climbed up inside to explore, like a seasoned, self-confident thief. She found a fat sandwich and plucked out the cheese, stuffing it into her sack. But suddenly, zip! A sharp sound made her freeze as everything faded to black. Think about what objects make the zip sound. Imprisoned in darkness, she tumbled and tossed, but what could Mahalia do? Tormented by fears of a grim holocaust, she pictured her home and her family lost. A sack full of cheese had been bought at such cost. Mahalia's Tale, Chapter 2. Let's think about all the rich vocabulary in this book. The backpack went bump as it came to a rest, then zip opened up to the light. Peeping outside, the mouse was distressed by a strange, unfamiliar sight. A room unlike any she'd been in before, full of rows upon rows of young students. In terror, she beat a retreat to the door, repenting her recent imprudence. Think about all the words you could actually look up in the dictionary. But a voice held Mahalia fast in her place. This course is extremely advanced. It concerns the behavior of atoms in space, their collisions and fissions, their motion and pace. Don't take it unless you're an absolute ace. Mahalia Mouse was entranced. Entranced. Ooh. In her lonely new lodgings, she took the course on, overwhelmed by its daunting regime. But one night, as she slept in the hour before dawn, her mother appeared in a dream. "My baby," she said, in a quavering voice, "you're off to a wonderful start. Don't think about us, just believe in your choice. Be happy and follow your heart." Thereafter, whenever she sneaked into class, the mouse would recall every word. But one day, in the midst of a lecture, alas, the unthinkable finally occurred. A mouse! An ear-splitting shriek pierced the air, and instantly chaos took hold. "Where?" people screamed. "Over there! Over there!" Some ran for an exit. Some leaped on a chair. Mahalia, trembling with fright and despair, felt the blood in her body run cold. What do you think Mahalia is thinking right now? The professor stepped forward to calm the class down. He stood at Mahalia's side. He stared at her notes with a studious frown. "This mouse is a genius," he cried. "Her grasp of the subject is sharp as a blade. This rodent will study with me." By noon, he had kept the bold promise he'd made. Her books were all purchased. Her lab fees were paid. Her doubts and her fears were completely allayed. Mahalia Mouse, Chapter 3. Ooh, so someone was able to see her potential. That day marked the start of 4 glorious years. Mahalia Mouse went to college. Admired and respected by all her peers, she gathered a broad range of knowledge. Along with her major, she dabbled in art, in history, math, and zoology. But one course especially captured her heart: the basics of human psychology. Think about everything you would want to study in college. Activities, too, filled Mahalia's days. For no shrinking violet, she, fencing and football, recitals and plays, glee club and squash, a brief square dancing phase. At the end of 4 years of achievement and praise, it was time to receive her degree. And think of all the fun clubs that they have on a college campus. As she giddily braced for her June graduation, 100 reporters all sought her, and that's how her parents, in wild jubilation, stumbled on news of their daughter. It took 4 years, but well worth it. At commencement, Mahalia marched with her class, perched on a friend's brawny shoulder. Thousands of well-wishers saw the mouse pass, craning their necks to behold her. All at once, she went pale. Her palms were like ice. Her face wore a stricken expression. Her eyes were transfixed by a family of mice crouched alongside the procession. And let's look at the pictures and how that imagery has changed for the illustrator. A much happier time. Not the gloomy pictures we were seeing before. "My mother, my father," Mahalia cried as she skittered on down to the ground. When she landed, her family rushed to her side, exploding with love, with relief, and with pride, a jumble of feelings, too joyous to hide. For the child they had lost had been found. And so we take leave of Mahalia's tale, a story of stout self-reliance, an epic account on a miniature scale of a mouse who set forth on life's bumpy trail and succeeded by simply refusing to fail. Mahalia, Bachelor of Science. What a great celebration at the end. And now, as we end our book, Mahalia Mouse Goes to College, we say farewell and follow your dreams from Miss Bedoya's fabulous library here at Armada Elementary. Bye, boys and girls.